Hey Frugivore, welcome back to Frugivore Diet Channel. So today I don't have a mic. As you can tell, the audio is probably not as good, but I want to have both my hands free and I just want to test it out to see how good it can be. And I'm also getting a mic, the special journalist mic coming from America. It's taking a while, so stay tuned for that. The audio is going to get better. We are going to do a reaction to Kate Flowers, What I Eat in a Day, Raw Vegan. And quite a number of you have requested a video reaction to Kate over the years, but I'm finally doing one now, okay? And I'm going to give a little bit of a backstory on Kate and myself and stuff like that, so stay tuned. And if you want to see more of these videos, give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Just do something if you want to see more of them, and leave a comment if you want these daily videos to continue, because it really helps get the message out, helps you connect with others in the community, and yeah, it's just a really good idea. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Let's check out what Kate Flowers is eating on a raw vegan diet. Okay, Frugivore, here we are on Kate Flowers' YouTube channel. She has 329,000 subscribers, which is a lot, right? It is a lot of young women, essentially, that she is connecting with. So today's video, we are going to react to her video, What We Eat in a Day, Raw Vegan. And this video has had over 107,000 views. So when it comes to a backstory on Kate and myself, there really is not much of a backstory. You know, I haven't had any personal, private communication with Kate, but I have seen many comments from her supporting me back in 2015, 2016, when I was more popular, when the YouTube algorithm was, promoting my videos. So she was supporting me back then. And from what I can ascertain, she actually went vegan, raw vegan from my influence. So I'm very happy that, she is vegan, I believe. And, I'm totally supportive, and I'm happy that I can influence her in a positive way there. But when it comes to extra information on Kate I've received over the years, it hasn't impressed me too much, unfortunately. From what you've sent me snippets of videos, she made the classic raw till 4 made me fat video. And look, if you come from an eating disorder, if you come from calorie restriction, if you come from dieting, then yes, you will gain weight initially on raw till 4, on raw vegan, because this is an abundant lifestyle. This is the lifestyle where you don't have to restrict anymore. It's abundance. So of course, if you've been in that restriction mode and then you start eating enough, your weight will go up initially. Okay. It will go up. It may be for a couple of years like it did for me, but it will come down. And we're seeing these long-term results on raw till 4ers. Their weight is coming down because they've stuck on it. They've treated it like a lifestyle for life, not a fad weight loss diet like a lot of women did. And see, Kate is no different in the way of her coming from an eating disorder background. She freely admits that she came from ED. She was a ballerina. She was restricting herself to get to a certain size, and she had anorexia. So of course she's going to gain weight initially. And we see this reflected in the starvation experiment, which I'm going to talk about more in future. All right. So it's natural to gain weight initially. Another video that she made was regretting fruitarianism. I remember that, one of you or a couple of you sent me snippets from this video, and apparently she didn't even do fruitarianism or even raw. I'm not exactly sure. Okay. There's a bit of controversy around that, but fruitarianism is eating fruit only. That's how I see it. It's fruit. Okay. Fruitarianism. So what we're going to do is she has actually deleted. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. She's deleted the raw till 4 made me fat video. I can't find it anywhere. So maybe she regrets it and she sees that the long-term results are actually good. People are coming forward with their testimonials. So she's deleted that one. And I think she also deleted the regretting fruitarianism. But what we're going to do is quickly look at Mark Tassie's reply.
Here we have another case of a popular YouTuber leading the blind. The blind leading the blind.
I'm not a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a professional expert in this field in any way, shape, or form.
It is absurd to me that by now that people still do not recognize the fact that the human animal, and I've said this over and over and over again, the human animal is a frugivorous animal.
Okay, we're going to look at his reply because he goes through a couple of important points. All right, so stay around for that. It's going to be at the end of the video. Anyway, that's enough talking, but I just wanted to give a little bit of a backstory. Okay, so let's get into it.
Do you want to tell them about our tea?
Yes, we're drinking dandelion tea. This is a good coffee replacement. It's herbal, which means there's no caffeine.
He likes to pronounce the H on purpose.
That is great. All right, like the fact that there's no caffeine and they're, trying to get off the drugs. I think that is wonderful. And that's what I've been talking a lot about on this channel, as you know. So maybe I have influenced this decision. I think that would be fantastic. It's better to have like a strawberry Gatorade. It's better to have a smoothie instead of, have a tea. But dandelion is definitely going to be better than caffeine. So it's definitely a step up. And I do feel that Kate watches my channel, because after I recommended a bum gun, if you don't know what it is, on my main channel, I made a couple of videos about it. She actually ended up getting one. It's more hygienic and I highly recommend it. Check it out. So I think she still does watch my channel. All right. So that's great. They're not having coffee. Wow. Okay. So that's great. That is awesome to see a jackfruit sitting there. Wow. Very cool.
Okay, so we're having green juice.
Green juice.
Which I got off track on this for a while, but I got back on it, and now I'm making him do it every day too, which is not his favorite thing.
She's making him do it every day. It's not his favorite thing. So it doesn't sound like he likes it at all. And that's important to take note of that, because he's just giving like a raw, real reaction to it, like he just doesn't like this green hit. And it's natural for the human frugivore not to want green juice. And it's not replicated in nature, not reflected in nature. You won't find any green juice. We're not herbivores. We're not meant to have a whole lot of this green plant matter. Some greens, yes, but especially when you juice it like that, it can make it like, ugh.
When I make green juice, I make it really, really heavy on the greens and
potent,
not so heavy on the sweet stuff.
Okay,
I can't even. Oh my!
That's an issue. Obviously, you don't have to make yourself feel uncomfortable when you're consuming food. Okay, and what I mean by that is just add fruit to it. Make it a green smoothie. Okay, and then you're going to enjoy the process. You're going to get some greens in there, which is great. And you're also going to get the fiber, which is important. So, I don't support the green juice. He naturally doesn't like it. And it's a sign. Listen to your brain telling you that this is like gross.
We need oil. We figured out that the only way to do this is with oil.
Okay, so when it comes to jackfruit, we grow them here. I love them. I'm so glad that she has a jackfruit there. It looks like maybe it's been picked a little bit unripe, so that can produce more latex. It's like this latexy, substance when you cut into it, and it just clogs up the knife. It's crazy. It just bogs it up. So what we do is we just have a special jackfruit knife. We don't use oil. We just cut into it. We let it kind of dry on there, and then we can chip it off. Then we chip off the latex off the knife, which is pretty cool. You can use oil, but I don't like to get lamp oil in my food. And, I was noticing that I'd taste it and I'm just like, no. So that's the best way I've found.
Mm-hmm. So I think we pretty much eat similar things every day. The difference is that he's pretty much 100% no sugar.
Yeah.
No processed sugar.
I still do some fruit.
But I probably eat more fruit than you.
Yeah.
Okay, so he is like 100%, almost 100% no like refined sugar, I'm imagining that she means. That's like, okay, so I can see there is a lack of actual understanding of how sugar works in the body, because there's a lot of demonizing of refined sugar. Yes, it is not optimal because it doesn't come from the whole food. It doesn't come from the fruit, right? It's coming in its refined form. But the body knows exactly what to do with monosaccharides. It just basically, it's effortless transfer into the cell if the diet is low fat, like it's meant to, like it's reflected, the human frugivore diet is meant to be a low fat diet. But when we have more fat in our diet, when we have too much fat, from these like oils and nut butters and nuts in general, people are having way too much, and it's interrupting, I'm talking about, plant eaters here, it's interrupting the flow of the sugar from that stage in the bloodstream, in the small intestine, when it's meant to be absorbed into the cell, okay? You need to, that process of getting into the cell is being interrupted. Basically, the bloodstream is being sludged up, and then people blame the sugar when they should be blaming the fat. It's a fat metabolism issue. Too much fat. Take out that excess fat, and then the sugar can do its thing. But of course, I recommend fruit.
Other than that, we both don't have gluten because we found that there were certain things that helped with autism, and 3 of them, autism. 4 of them, oh goodness.
No dairy.
No dairy, which was easy because you're already eating a plant-based diet. No gluten, no greens, and no sugar.
Yeah. So no fun stuff, basically.
No fun.
Oh, okay. So he's cutting out like dairy. That's good. Gluten. That's good. Grains. I mean, in particular for him, that's going to be good. but sugar. So the sugar comes in there again. It's like guilty by association. It's not guilty in itself, but it's associated with the fat, and people just look to the sugar instead of looking to the fat. They should be looking to the fat to lower the fat intake. I'm not sure with the autism. He's autistic. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know the backstory there, but he definitely should be focusing on the raw vegan diet, on a frugivore diet, fruit-based diet for sure, and lowering the fat intake.
Tastes like bubble gum. So we actually, last time we had a jackfruit, we planted one of the seeds.
Oh, wow. That's very cool. They planted one of the 6?
And a little mini jackfruit tree is already growing.
cool.
I think it's going to take like 5 years
Wow.
for it to produce fruit,
That's
but
awesome.
really excited about it.
I'm really like proud of her for doing that. I think that is wonderful. Yes, please plant the seeds. Please grow fruit trees. So then you can eventually have food security. You can feed yourself the diet that you're meant to. I think that's fantastic. Inner tropics here probably take like 3 years or so. Yes, you might be right. She's in Florida. It's kind of subtropical, maybe about 5 years. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's so good.
Maybe it's like
It's so good. Like they,
bubblegum.
okay, you can see that, look, I think that scene makes me happy. It's 2 frugivores enjoying their natural food. It's like if you took away the background, you took away their clothes, you put them out in the jungle and you like repeated that scene, you know, of them with the jackfruit, it would just be just so reflected in nature. This is how it would be. They would be enjoying jackfruit, enjoying fruit because they are frugivores, you know, like, it just makes me happy. 2 frugivores enjoying the natural food.
This has been a project, so we got jackfruit for days now. We do not have what we need to make.
Okay, so I don't know how much jackfruit they ate then, but they seem like they maybe didn't have too much and they kind of put it into containers. They have it for days. It's amazing how much fruit you can get out of those fruits, but I'm not too sure how much.
Lunch that we want to make and the dinner that we want to make. So we're heading to the grocery store and I've made us some smoothies to go.
Okay.
All right, so in these smoothies, we've got homemade almond milk, spinach, frozen bananas, frozen blueberries.
Hang on, 1, 2, I think maybe that looks like about 2.5 bananas.
Omega-3 supplement that I take every single day.
Oh, okay. So she takes omega-3 supplement. That's really not necessary. If you're eating correctly, that is not necessary.
Hemp seeds, protein powder,
Wow.
and
Okay, so she has protein powder as well. All right, so it's important to make this point now. Kate is actually sponsored by some protein powder company, I believe. Yeah, there's a link in the description below. So she sells like supplements and protein powder. So that's important to take a note of. And I really believe that a lot of these young women have been influenced by Swayze, Our Natural Vegan, to increase the amount of fat and protein in their diets. There's no actual real reason they should be doing it. But if they're kind of like subtly kind of bullied a bit, you know, because she does reviews and, you know, will say, oh, they're not eating enough protein or they need to eat more. And, you know, and then these individuals will start to change how they eat. I've noticed it with like quite a few of them. Don't change based on what others are judging your diet as, you know, being wrong. Change based on like it not being in line with your basic physiology, your species specific way of eating. Change for those reasons.
also some water to blend it up. It doesn't look great, but it tastes amazing. He just ran over to me.
Okay, so it seems like that would probably be about like maximum maybe 400 calories each, I'd say, and maybe she had 400 or so from the jackfruit. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, it's too much protein. Okay, too much fat as well. Having this hemp seeds, you don't need to put hemp seeds in. Don't bother. Okay, it's just adding to your fat total, and your body just has to basically churn through that. Makes it harder on your digestion. Kate, I know that you want to do a raw vegan lifestyle long term. I can tell, you know, you love it, you keep coming back to it, but you got to do it right. I know you said you got discipline issues, and that's because you're really not getting enough sweet fruit into your day, okay? And that's why I recommend you go fruit yourself, okay? I definitely read this book and implement the guidelines, because the Frugivore diet is basically outlined in this book. Okay, and I go through all the mistakes that I made when I first came to lifestyle, and it's very, very valuable for newbies to read this book and to do it properly. And I've got a whole lot of recipes, whole lot of new recipes in the book and the back, which, yeah, quite amazing. I think you're going to love those recipes. So do it properly so you are satisfied and that you can live like frugivores are meant to long term, eating all you care for, all the bulk you care for, not restricting, not focusing on getting heaps of good fats and too much protein and stuff. It's just crazy. Whole foods are the key. They always have been and they always will be. Sweet fruit, whole foods are queen. All right, check it out. Go fruit yourself. It's going to be available on Amazon soon. I will let you know, but the ebook is available right now. You can just download it straight away. And I recommend all my books, of course, because they all have different messages essentially, but they're all, it's fruit-based, is Raw Till 4 and this book, but My Naked Lunchbox is also female empowerment. And it's also got some great lunchbox recipes for those transitioning to this lifestyle. So check it out. There's a link to the bundle down below. Change your life forever, discounted rate. And I think it's going to be like when you feel like how good you are feeling, let me know in the comments below if you're doing Raw Till 4 or Raw Vegan, and let us know how good you feel, because I know you're going to feel better if you jump on this lifestyle.
So we've actually been eating mostly raw food lately. I've been eating pretty much 100% raw food, and he's been eating mostly raw with some quinoa.
Quinoa.
That's pretty much it, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
And it's been a long time since I've eaten completely raw. If you've been on my channel for a long time, you know that
So she might be like influenced by me going back to raw as well, because she was influenced with the bum gun. She was influenced to go vegan. So it kind of is adding up a bit there. And I think that's wonderful. I think that's great. It seems like she does enjoy raw vegan a lot. She keeps coming back.
I personally feel my best when I'm eating mostly raw food, and I've just not been able to get the discipline or the habits or whatever it is that motivates me to just eat mostly raw. I have not been able to do that for quite some time now.
Yeah, so there is a reason for that, of course, because look, if you're not getting enough sweet fruit, because you are a frugivore, and if you try and do raw like a higher fat, high protein way, it's not going to work. I'm here to tell you, it is not going to work. You're going to feel terrible. It's not healthy. It's not even healthy to eat that way. Okay, so just remember, you will fall off the wagon again and again and again. And it's just not a discipline thing. It's more of a lack of you not meeting your basic physiological needs.
I would say for the last 2 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks, I've been eating all raw food, and I feel so much better. Yep. I think you do too.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and see, they both feel better because they're frugivores, and they've probably been omitting certain non-foods, even plant foods that are meant to go in the body, and they may be having more sweet fruit, but I have a feeling it's not enough.
Yeah, we're gonna run to the grocery store and get some.
Spend as much time outside and in nature as possible, so I decided we'd have a little lunch picnic. I made us a really large salad with romaine, cucumber, tomato, avocado.
Okay, I wouldn't call that a really large salad for 2 people, but it's all right. It's a salad, and it doesn't seem to have sweet fruit or much sweet fruits like tomato.
Avocado and hemp seeds. Salads can be so delicious with the right dressing. This one has almond butter, tahini, hemp seeds, nutritional yeast, kelp granules. It's full of nutrition.
Wow. Okay. So that salad dressing, I am not supportive of. It has a nutritional yeast. It has like almond butter. It has hemp seeds. It has tahini. Okay. That's a huge fat hit. That's a huge fat hit, and that is going to be incredibly difficult on your digestion and your assimilation of the sugar that your body is essentially trying to draw from your food. So no, wow. And nutritional yeast, don't go there. It's bloating. It's not food. So that's way too much fat. So you can see this is essentially a low carb, high fat lunch salad.
And it's so incredibly delicious.
Raw vegan, sugar-free, blueberry cheesecake. It takes about 2 hours in the freezer to set all of.
It does look like it has a delicious texture, okay? And I can probably guess what's in there. It is probably cashews, okay? If it's like a cheesecake.
So I'm making it before dinner, and it makes 2 little mini cheesecakes.
So the issue here is, again, the fat content.
Instead of any added sugar, there is a little bit of dates in the crust and a little bit of blueberries, obviously. Mm-hmm. But then we use monk fruit, which is a nice sugar-free alternative. It's my favorite in terms of flavor. I like it better than stevia. Super.
Okay, so monk fruit, if you're using it for reasons of keeping the sugar low, then it's just the wrong focus, okay? The focus here should be on the fat. There's too much fat pumping through their body, okay? And this is not going to help his condition. It's not going to help how she feels. You can see the focus is wrong. The focus should be on the excess fat. And this is going to be full of cashews. I can almost guarantee a lot of cashews, probably more hemp. It's going to be quite a fatty little thing.
Super easy to make. If you're lazy like me.
I love this recipe. It was inspired because I went to a raw food restaurant for the first time ever in 2009 in New York City. And
yeah, so New York City does have amazing raw vegan food. It's incredible. If you want to have that gourmet experience. I actually went to this, I think she's talking about Pure Food and Wine. And I went there and I had the exact same lasagna, and it is amazing, but it's just cooked cashews. It's basically a lot of cooked cashews, and it does not make you feel good. Trust me, it does not, because we're frugivores, not cedivores.
I got their raw lasagna, and I thought it was the best thing I'd ever had. I was like, this is so fresh and delicious, and it was one of the first times I'd ever had raw food. So super inspired by that. So I made my own version of it, and now...
Okay, so let's like go to when they eat it.
I mean...
Okay, well, that looks amazing. Like, she really aesthetically did that justice. That looks incredible. It does actually look pretty much like the one that I had at the Raw Vegan restaurant. And I am supportive of you having these dishes here and there, like I do as well. But if you're not having enough sweet fruit like before it, like they aren't having enough sweet fruit, then it's just you're not going to feel great after it. Especially like if you do this day after day, you're just going to feel like low energy. She needs to educate herself on fat and the excess fat and the damage it does within. But we are going to watch Mark's video. He's going to talk a little bit more about that.
I'll try to add in the good shot here because I think I got some good footage of it. But is it?
Yeah, it looks amazing. It looks amazing. Just have enough sweet fruit or this is going to make you feel pretty ill and definitely not going to keep you raw long term. But I actually have a lasagna recipe in my Go Fruit Yourself book. It's like a new one, and it is similar, but lower fat. And you should check that one out. You're just going to be wanting sweet. He's definitely going to be wanting a lot of sweet.
I'm really excited to show you our finalized dessert. The miniest, tiniest little slices of cheesecake that you will ever see. So we get a little...
It seems like very restrictive to have that much. Like when it's, just go to town on the jackfruit. It's better if they both eat like heaps of jackfruit. Just get the jackfruit in. Just like every other animal in nature eats mono meals. I don't know any other animal that doesn't eat mono meals. You can tell me in the comments below, but it is what most animals eat, right? They come to their species specific, food source. They eat as much as they care for when they're hungry till they're full and satisfied. And that's a lot of bulk for us. This is not a lot of bulk. You can see that. It's not going to leave you satiated. You need to expand that stomach sac and your digestive system in general to have the message of satiation sent back to your brain. That's very important. Remember that. Okay.
Plate or bowl, and we just put in a tiny little slice of cheesecake. But we will eat this entire thing in one night. No problem.
Yeah, and that's a lot of fat, okay? Even though it's tiny, it ends up being a lot of fat, but it's still not a lot of bulk because there's not a lot of fiber there. There's a lot of fiber in fruits and greens, vegetables, okay? This is just a very high fat content. And I'm coming from a perspective here of, she's trying to succeed on Raw Vegan. So, of course, I've got to be more critical of what she's doing because I want her to succeed. I want her to do this long term. And if you don't do it right, then you won't stay on track. You're not going to get enough. If she doesn't get enough sweet fruit, she won't be satisfied to stay on board.
You're so baby.
Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I can see what clearly is happening here. Too much fat, too much protein, and not enough sweet fruit. And the focus is being on the sugar, even the refined sugar, rather than the fat. Okay, so Kate, please focus on the excess fat that is in both your bodies, what you're intaking, because that's going to be causing the blood sugar issues, inflammation, digestive issues, skin issues, all sorts of things. So just keep that in mind. It's not a long-term solution to do a higher fat, higher protein, raw vegan diet. It just does not work. Okay. So anyway, let's just quickly go to Mark's video because Mark made a good response here. And if you don't know who Mark is, Mark has actually been in the Frugivore, fruitarian, raw vegan scene for many years, for decades, okay? And I met him in 2011, I believe, at Woodstock Fruit Festival. He was on 30 Bananas a Day. We've had our disagreements, okay? We've had our disagreements, but we've spoken since then and buried the hatchet, basically. We definitely agree that humans are frugivores, and I enjoy his videos when he talks about humans being frugivores. I hope he makes more of them. Go and check them out on his channel. But this one is a response to Kate Flowers' regrets fruitarianism, and I believe she deleted that video as well so maybe she regrets putting that video up. So that's the only reason you would delete it, right? I'm not sure. But anyway, let's check out what Mark has to say. And I'm not going to respond to her, what she says in a video, even though I'm probably going to feel very triggered and I want to like say, no, that's not right, I'm just going to let Mark respond.
I recently watched a Kate Flowers video. I don't normally watch her videos.
A diet super, super, super high in sugar, regardless of where the sugar is coming from, is probably not a healthy thing, especially long term.
She talked about including much more healthy fats and protein.
So I haven't promoted a super high fruit diet on my channel since the very beginning of my channel. And those of you who've been here since then know that I have progressively grown, evolved, and changed my dietary choices to include lots more healthy fat and protein, lots more.
The fact of the matter is the human organism needs very little fat and very little protein, especially protein. Too much protein is hard on the kidneys, especially from animal origin, but I don't think she's another one of these ex-vegans. Too much protein is a burden on the body, especially animal protein, which, as I say, is very difficult on the kidneys. They are preformed proteins, meaning that the body has to first break them down into amino acids before they can be reused by the body. In other words, a tremendous expenditure of energy, not to mention the difficulty of digesting meat or any animal product for that matter. The healthy fats, well, I don't know what she means by healthy fats, but I think she means plant fats, but too much fat is too much fat. Of course, plant fats are much less detrimental to the body than are saturated animal fats, which contribute to heart disease, arterial sclerosis. It has been shown that saturated animal fat actually does kill pancreas cells. So if you're worried about diabetes, diabetes is not a disease of too much sugar. It is a disease of fat toxicity, especially animal fat toxicity. But even with plant fats, the research shows that too much plant fats even inhibit artery function, especially fats from nuts. Oil, I don't know if she's talking about oils as healthy fats, but oil is not a health food. It's an absolute junk food. Most oils are too high in omega-6. It has also been shown that oil will contribute to arterial sclerosis as much as butter. The 80-10-10 model, which was not invented by Doug Graham, by the way, Nathan Pritikin years ago talked about 80-10-10, 80% carbohydrate, 10% fat, 10% protein. Certainly, we don't need more than that. We don't need more protein or fat than 10%. In fact, human milk is the lowest in protein of any other mammal. Here we have another case of a popular YouTuber leading the blind. The blind leading the blind.
I'm not a doctor, a dietitian, a nutritionist, or a professional expert in this field in any way, shape, or form.
It is absurd to me that by now that people still do not recognize the fact that the human animal, and I've said this over and over and over again, the human animal is a frugivorous animal.
Yes. Thank you, Mark Tazzy. Thank you, Mark. And I 100% agree. We are frugivorous. Go and check out Mark's videos on the frugivore, on being a frugivore. And so that's the video. That is my video for today. You can see that Kate has to educate herself more on basic physiology, on the fact that we are frugivores, and has to make the connection between the fat, high fat intake, the protein, and how that is contributing to negatively to the way she would feel and a partner, and them staying on the lifestyle long term and ultimately getting those great results that you do get long term on this lifestyle when you do it properly. And also, obviously, Roquefort did not make her fat. It's just her past choices of dieting, eating ED that is contributing to weight gain. And it comes down, as I have showed you a number of times, it comes down in time when your body basically settles and your metabolism heals and you come back to, that fruit-based kind of balance that you're meant to have in your body as a human frugivore. So anyway, that's my video for today. Don't forget to go fruit yourself, and I will see you soon.